I'm still, is Rochelle, you want to give us a little sign that you're here? I see your name, but it looks like it's muted and no visual.
Well, we give her a couple minutes to.
There
wait.
she is.
Sorry, I couldn't find the buttons.
That's okay. All righty. And then shall we commence with our meeting?
Yes.
Welcome to the November 2nd meeting for Soquel Creek Water District.
Today's number first.
Oh, it's the first.
Yes.
Wow, you're right. Well, sorry, you're right. Today is November 1st.
We could have another meeting tomorrow if you want. So.
No, we're good. I'm good with November 1st. And we will call the meeting to order and have a roll call, please.
Director Daniels,
I'm here.
Vice President Christensen,
I'm here.
Director Jaffe,
Here.
Oh, good.
There it is.
Director Lather,
Here.
and President LaHue.
I am here as well. All right, and we are first going to have about a 15-minute closed session and then we will come back to this platform at 6:20. Is there anyone that wishes to make any public comment on the closed session? I'm looking for hands and I do not see any. The only attendee I see is Tracy, so.
Correct.
Okay, so then we will now move to closed session and we'll meet you back here, all of you, at 6:20 p.m. All right, it's 6:20. Welcome back, everyone. To our Soquel Creek Water District meeting for November 1st. We just came out of closed session and there was no reportable action. And now we will move ahead. So there are no public hearings. And the next item would be board members' opportunity to remove items from the consent agenda. So do I see anyone that would like to, looking for hands?
Do not believe I see any hands.
Do
President.
not see any.
Do not.
President LaHue, I just want to note, this is Emma. Director Lather is in the attendee section, and she has not been. I've tried promoting her, and it doesn't look like she's popping in as a panelist. Just FYI.
Oh, she must have just done that.
Yep.
Yay! Never mind.
Sorry.
Yay.
Called.
She probably forgot to push the button.
I did.
Okay. So
Thanks for noticing that, Emma.
so Rochelle, I had just asked if anybody had anything to remove from the consent agenda if you did not hear. Did you have anything?
That's true.
Okay. I guess, no?
Sorry, I have nothing to add.
Okay.
Or remove.
All right.
Running around the house.
I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda then.
So moved.
Moved by Director Daniels,
I'll second.
seconded by Director Lather. Okay, roll call, please.
President LaHue, before we call the roll, just wanted to note for the record, there was no request.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, you're right. Public comment on, I was looking at attendees and didn't see any hands raised, but I probably should have made that point. I'm going back and forth on my list to see, look for raised hands. We didn't have any requests to speak tonight, but as always, anyone that is attending would just have to raise their hand and let us know and they can speak. Okay, but seeing none and double checking again. All right, then we can do the roll call.
Director Daniels,
Yes.
Vice President Christensen,
Yes.
Director Jaffe,
Yes.
Director Lather,
Yes.
and President Leahy.
Yes. All right, thank you. Next is for oral and written communications on anything that is not on tonight's agenda. So I'm looking. And I don't see any hands from our directors or don't see any hands from attendees. Any low tech requests? As in just holding hand in your picture? Checking for that too. Okay, I guess we can move on then. I don't have anything myself. There are no reports. And so we'll move to administrative business. And there is a conditional will serve letter. I think Taj probably has that.
Yeah, Tasha's on vacation, so I'm going to present this item.
Okay.
Good evening,
Thank you,
everybody.
Shelley.
You're welcome. This is to approve an unconditional will serve for a single family development project at 4077 Cherryvale Avenue. It's coming to the board because the offset requirement is greater than an acre foot of water, and that's because of the size of the parcel. It's a 1.05 acre parcel, but there's otherwise nothing unique about this project. The applicant has paid 100% of their water demand offset fee and met their conservation requirements. So we're just requesting a unconditional approval letter.
Okay. Any public comment on this item? And feel free to raise your hand if you have something. Looking in attendees.
Director Jaffe has a question, looks like.
Okay, so no public comment. So then we will go to the board. Yes, Bruce.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what's the, new customer, what's the way that we let them know about the Water Smart program? Is that in the material that they receive, or?
I believe when somebody does activate a service, that they're made aware of that by the office, the billing department. And they're also made aware of online bill pay at that time. And those two systems are linked together.
Okay, good, because I think it's a great program and will save water in that leaks will be detected early, and I think we should make sure that people know about it.
Yeah, good point. And Bruce Daniels, you had a question too?
I had a comment. It's not specifically about this particular item, but it's relevant, which is, at some point, assuming we decide to do something with this WDO program, I would like to see that be rather than a, cutoff, this date it doesn't happen and that date it's something else. I would like to see something like a declining situation, so that, because if I was putting $82,500 in today and next month you decide to stop the program, I would be very, very upset, and I think rightly so. So rather than that, I'd like to see, like say, in a couple of months, it would go down to 70,000, and then a couple of months after that, whatever. So some kind of declining situation. So just my comment.
Okay, so not
Interesting
specifically about
concept.
this, but
But what's the rationale for it in terms of the nexus with the costs to the district of having new customers?
Well, we will always have new customers. Part of the reasons for having this WDO program is so that people don't make the situation worse. Okay. And in fact, I refer to it like the doctors say, first do no harm. And that was kind of the reason for this program, is that by coming into our district, you're not making the situation any worse with this, because your usage is being offset, literally. And, we're working on this huge program, which is going to give us, as I tell people, 500 million gallons every year of new water that's drought proof even. And so you might well say that at some point that calculus about, causing, harm to our district by your new use kind of goes away, or at least gets less. And so I'm not saying we need to get rid of it. I'm just saying if we were to get rid of it, we should talk about doing something gradually.
No, that makes
Maybe if we
sense.
just change it, we should do it gradually.
Yeah.
And another option that might actually be better, because the price of the offsets but you have to show a nexus to the mitigation project that you're implementing. You have to show that cost nexus. So I don't know that tweaking the cost would be the best solution, but maybe you could tweak the
Shelley?
fact.
Shelley, I'm gonna stop us because
Okay.
I don't want to go outside.
This is probably not on.
Yeah.
It's not on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, we can bring it back as an item for discussion. We have plans to do that. So we do appreciate the comments. I just want to be
Yeah,
mindful.
we can't go too far off on that one. Carla, did you have a?
Yeah.
comment?
It's actually more related to this. I just recall when in previous will serve discussions, when the lot was a very large lot, did we do any, I thought we did negotiations for them to reduce the waterable size of their lot.
In some cases, the applicant can pursue a deed restriction of portions of their lot to reduce the lot size and also the water that's needed mostly for irrigation. This lot that we're talking about is flat, and so they would be limiting their options, and it wouldn't be recommended for a lot that's flat and pretty usable. It's more for when you have steep slopes. You might have environmental restrictions like riparian corridors and that sort of thing.
And that may seem a little counterintuitive, Director Christensen, but the idea is that if you have a flat lot, you may be tempted to water it, right? And it's hard for us to monitor versus a slope where it kind of like it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, because I just it's just something to keep in mind that, the water we're getting to recycle to turn into purified water is all indoor water, or, and it's, so the more water that we're watering outside, it still creates, a kind of a deficit of even our source water eventually. So it's just something, because we will be putting water into the ground rather than into a lot, rather than recycling it. That's basically, but anyway, I was just curious about that situation. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Okay,
So I was gonna ask the same question, Carla. So the deed restrictions don't apply if it's a flat lot? Or is it?
We don't encourage people with really usable parcels to do deed restrictions, and for one, it's difficult to monitor for us. And yeah, I mean, it's up to an applicant if they want to do it, but we might not grant a request if, it's a very usable lot. We haven't really had that happen, so.
Okay.
all right. We had no public comment. We've had a little discussion. I could entertain a motion. Anybody's,
I'll make the motion.
okay,
I'll second.
okay. Did you get that, Emma?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Got it.
Roll
Okay.
call.
Roll call, please.
Director Daniels,
Yes.
Vice President Christensen,
Yes.
Director Jackie,
Yes.
Director Lather,
Yes.
and President LaHue.
Yes, ma'am. All righty. Shall we go to item 7.2? This is to consider approval of a consultant to look at how we could, get some benefit for ourselves in Scotts Valley Water District. So Ron, is this your
Yeah,
presentation?
yes, I'll take this one. Thank you, President Leahy. Yeah, so, this item is presented to the board to evaluate whether to have a third party conduct an evaluation about if there's somewhere along the spectrum of a strategic partnership we should have with Scotts Valley. And as you remember, back in March, the board approved forming an ad hoc committee to evaluate that. And we've done that. Director Lather and Director Christensen were on that committee. And we met several times with Scotts Valley. And what we realize is there is potential there, but we also realize that our timing's a little off, meaning that, we have a lot of work on our plate. And so we need to stay focused. And so what we told Scotts Valley is, yes, this third-party study might make sense, and usually they take a year or two to do anyway, but we don't have the resources to lead the effort on that. They said they would write the RFQ/P, and we can chime in when we want. Of course, we would have to be interviewed. I'm sure board members would be too, by a third party. That's how these processes usually work. So there'd be some time there. And of course, there's a financial commitment, half, maybe less if another partner wanted to contribute to the study. But you can see that could range, our estimate is 50 to 75,000, which right now, if it came in around, that would be split equally between Scotts Valley and us. So the motion before you tonight is proven allocation up to 37,500 from OCR for the study that we're talking about for the enhanced partnership evaluation with Scotts Valley. And then if you do pass that, to conduct a competitive selection process and hire a consultant to perform the study of what type of enhanced strategic partnership, if any, would be beneficial to each agency and its customers and environment. So that's what's before you tonight. Be glad to take any, if there's public comment, or answer any questions. Thank you.
All righty. So, is there any public comment on this item? I'm looking at our attendees. I do not see any hands there. And so it looks like there is no public comment. So then, board members, I think, Bruce, I saw your hand up first, and then Carla.
Okay. Just question, what would the timing on this be, Ron, roughly?
Yeah, and Director Rochelle and Christensen can definitely jump in, and so can Tracy. I think they wanted to get the RFP written, within a month or so and get it out on the street. So, you're looking at the beginning of the new year, maybe hiring a consultant somewhere around that time frame. I would estimate. We haven't really spoke to that, and then probably. These studies take a while to get for them to do the interviews and then write. So I'm going to say a year or around. I may be off on my estimates. I'm just trying to give you a ballpark. I've been involved one or two on the interview side of it, and that's about how long they took. So does that give you a rough time frame? And I can follow on that.
Yeah, and so since you've been involved with it before, these are things that happen not routinely, but there are consultants out there that this is their in their wheelhouse of what they do.
Yeah. The last one I was interviewed on was the fire department, that merger, and they wanted to know our perspective as another special district. Also, we have the West Annex. There was some talk around that. So, and that went through, right? That one did. The study, the recommendation was actually for a merger or a consolidation or something. We're not necessarily asking for that specifically, but anything along the spectrum. Yes.
And then one last question. Well, first, the fact that it's 50-50 makes perfect for the funding makes perfect sense to me. But the 37,500 potentially, there's spending that money could result in a greater savings. That's the logic for doing this.
Yeah, the logic
customers.
is, hopefully, like we've been successful in our grant and funding, we spent some money, but, pennies on the dollar or less, we got much more bigger return. And so the thought is that there could be a economy of scale, right? Both agencies, neither one are giant. And so there could be some benefits there. And then also we know Scotts Valley's interested in pure water Soquel. So could in some enhanced relationship help facilitate that if appropriate, right? They have treated wastewater they actually send out to the ocean that does not go through Santa Cruz, for example. And there's other things. So so exploration, it seems like a good investment for the potential long-term return.
Okay, thanks.
Carla.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say this is, we met for 6 months, that was
Thank
the
you
limit.
both for doing that.
Yeah, Rochelle and I participated, but the 6 months, it was going to have to change into a standing committee of some sort anyway. And then we didn't have the time. This was the logical next step, and to just probing what, how we could, the feasibility of joining together, or what we could share, or, and the pluses, the minuses and pluses of what we each have available in our district. So I think it's a really good idea.
Rochelle, did you want to add anything? And then Bruce, you have a question. Sorry.
Yeah, it was a really good exercise that we did, meeting and trying to explore what our abilities are and how we could help one another. And I think this is the best next step, because we have no way to quantify it. And a consultant that has experience can give us some quantification of what the real benefits would be.
Bruce Daniels.
Yes, I would like to be careful to not leave this open-ended. I would not want, for example, a consultant to go off and spend all the money looking into merging the two agencies, because I'm not interested in that. I don't know if the rest of you are, but we should tighten it down so that the kinds of things we're actually thinking we would want to do are what they spend their time studying, versus other things that they might talk about, sharing our accounting services or something. And that's okay, but, to spend this kind of money to do that, when that's not the biggest problem either of us have, I imagine. So we should, put down, a few things, like maybe 3 things we'd like them to study that makes sense to us, that we think is feasible, that we think is beneficial, and that that they should then spend their time looking at those 3 things and not just wander all over the universe looking at everything.
Which to me brings up a question. So that's great that they're willing to work on doing the RFP. But we will get a chance to review it before it goes out, correct?
We don't always follow that. We can certainly make that available to you. Sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. What we do is always bring it back upon selection of the consultant. But we have brought RFQs and Ps to you before, just to gain your input when we thought it was, or you thought it was a good idea. So we certainly could do that.
So I'm gathering from what Bruce Daniels said, he would probably want to see it.
I
Correct,
would.
Bruce?
Yeah, and I think Scotts Valley, I may be speaking out of turn for them, so maybe the standing committee members can help me, or the ad hoc committee members, but I think they are interested in the range, the full range, and not going in with preconceived notions of these things, see how they'll do it. They wanted the expertise of the consultant, I think, to be more what would provide value. And it may be that it provides this to Scotts Valley and this to us, and that's not a That's not good, but I think that was my understanding of the way, a little broader than what Director Daniels is I think.
Well, I think we may all not agree even on our board of what it should have, but I think my feeling is if we're going to spend, $25,000 to $37,000, we should probably have a look at the RFP or RFQ, whatever it
Okay.
is,
Definitely.
before it goes out.
So then what I would recommend is in the motion, maybe the second one or third one and we can just do it. You don't even have to motion, I guess. We'll just make a note that way the board request before it hits the street, before it's released, get board approval. Is that accurate?
And it can be
Sounds
added to
good.
the motion too, just to be clear.
Sure.
Pardon?
It could be added to the motion just to make sure it's
Oh,
clear.
yeah. If you can add to the motion, that'd be much appreciated.
Any other discussion or a motion that somebody wants to include that? Somebody?
Well, it's
No.
looking for an and, so it's looking for both motions. So we could add it to either one, doesn't matter.
I think we should make a third very specific.
Okay,
Go ahead, Bruce, give it a shot.
Well, so I move the first and second motion and add a third motion that before the RFP is published, that our board have an opportunity to comment
Okay.
on the RFP.
Okay,
Excellent.
I'll second that triple motion.
okay. Those three motions have been made and seconded by the Bruces. Roll call, please.
Director Daniels,
Yes.
Vice President Christensen,
Yes.
Director Jaffe,
Yes.
Director Lather,
Yes.
and President LaHue.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you all. I think now it is time for adjournment. The next meeting is going to be on November 22nd.
That's correct.
Okay, so I got that date right? Good.
Mhm.
That's-
Yeah, I believe so. Emma, can you confirm?
Yes, it's the 22nd.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah, it's not the
Check.
regular, it's one off, right? Yeah.
Right, okay. So I think that's it. So
Bye, everybody.
have a good evening and see you
Thank you.
then.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Right.
Okay,
Bye.
great.